Hello guys, good morning. Can you able to hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any doubts in the previous class? If you have any doubts in the previous class, please let me know. Yesterday, we have started with for loop. We have seen this program. We have seen this type of program in the last class. By using comma as a separator, in the initialization part, we can able to declare and initialize more than one variable. The same thing we can able to do in the increment or decrement part. Try to write the output for this one. Initially, I will be 0, j will be 10. J greater than 2, 10 greater than 2, yes, printing the same. Printing current I value, colon, printing current J value. J will be decremented, I will be incremented. I will be incremented to 1, J will be decremented to 9. If you are getting confusion here, simply you can able to go for I plus plus, then J minus minus. Based on the J value, as long as J greater than 2, as long as J greater than 2, by seeing only you can able to determine the answer. Whenever J becomes 2, whenever J becomes 2, for loop will be terminating. Whenever J becomes 2, control will be coming out of the for loop. That means 2 colon 8, 3 colon 7, 4, 6, 5, 5, 6, 4, 5, 3, 4, 2, observe. We don't get this iteration. J is 2. Assume J value got decremented to 3. I value got incremented to 5. Printing the same 5 and 3. Sorry. After incrementing, that is the last step now. After incrementing, I will be incremented to 5, J will be decremented to 3. Now it is going to check whether 3 greater than 2. Whether 3 greater than 2, yes. going inside, current I value is 5. Current J value is 3. Now, once again, increment and decrement is going to happen. I will be incremented to 6. Sorry, here it is not increment is happening here. In this case, on the left side, increment. On the right side, decrement. Assume I value got incremented to 7, J value got decremented to 3. Now it is going to check whether J value, current J value is 3. 3 greater than 2. Yes. 3 is greater than 2. Going inside, printing current I value and J value. 7:3. Then I will be incremented to 8. J will be decremented to 2. Now it is going to check whether 2 greater than 2. No. Comes out. So observe this program. What is the output we'll get? From 0:10 to 7:3. Now, if you want to print the last values of I and J, simply what you can do is you need to print it here. But to print it here, if you are directly trying to print it here, you'll get syntax error. Cannot find symbol I, cannot find symbol J. That is why we need to declare this I and J outside the for loop. Int I comma J, like this. Now there is no issue. Anywhere in the main method, you can able to use. This is the last value. This is the last value. 8:2. Whichever the value, whichever the J value, that got false in the for loop, that caused false in the for loop, J value that is 2, 2 greater than 2, that value we are printing here. Both are changing, both the variables are changing. I value incremented, J value decremented. So from 7 to I value got incremented to 8. J value decremented from 3 to 2. Here we are printing last values. Up to whatever you are getting 7:3, it is in the for loop 0:10 to 7:3. This is outside the for loop, inside the main method. Everybody has to tell the output. Please tell the output what happens in this case. Write the output, send it. Everybody has to try. Take the pen and pencil and try. Try it on the paper. I'll give you the time. Please try it. These are all the basic logic of program. You need to develop to think logically. To develop how to think logically. We know how double OR operator works. This is one section. This is another section. This is third section. Three sections we have. What is the output? Everybody has to try. Please send it in the chat window. Guys, please send the results. You need to try. We know how double AND operator works. This is double OR operator. You know how double OR operator works? Please send the results. For the first iteration, I0, j is 20. Now, keep track of I value and j value. I value 0, j value 20. Double OR, logical OR. Whether I less than 15, 0 less than 15, yes. It won't check another operand since we are getting the true here itself. Zero less than 15. Going inside, printing current I value and j value. I value 0, then comma. Here we are using comma. To avoid the confusion, simply I'll go for colon itself. Colon. Zero colon j value is 20. Now I will be incremented to 1, j will be decremented to 19. Now, once again, whether 1 less than 15, yes. Printing 1 colon 19. I will be incremented to 2, j will be decremented to 18. Whether 2 less than 15, likewise. Carefully observe how many iterations we get like this. 0 colon, sorry, 2 colon 18. Now becomes 370. 3 less than 50 becoming 4. 16. 4 less than 15. 4 colon 16. Then 5 15. 5 15 becoming 6. 6 less than 15. I is becoming, sorry, okay, I is becoming 7, J is becoming 13. I got incremented to 8, J got decremented to 12. 8, 12. I got incremented to 9, J got decremented to 11. Ten, 11, 9, 12, 8, 13, 7, 14, 6. Now carefully observe, I is becoming 15, J is becoming 5. Carefully observe this one. I is becoming 15 from 14 to 15. J is becoming decrementing from 6 to 5. Whether 15 less than 15, false, false. It has to check second condition. Whether current J value is what? 5. 5 greater than 15? No, false. This is also false. Comes out, printing last value. Here I'm printing last value. To avoid the confusion, what I'll do, I'll give a separator like this. Save it. We'll get separator here. After this, we'll get 15, 5. Save it. Run. We are getting like this. You need to analyze like this. In the interview, if they are giving you logical coding, in the interview, if they are giving you the logical coding question, you need to keep track of the variable values like this. Then you need to write the output. Iteration by iteration. In the first iteration, what happens? What all the variables are changing? What is the output? In the second iteration, what is the variable values? What is the output? Likewise. Then you don't get any confusion. Come to the next. Observe this one. Write the output. Write the output. We know how double AND operator works. Must and should. Both should return true. Then only it will enter the body. Write the output. See, these are all the very important. You need to think logically. So you must try. See, don't send once one line of output, then another line of output. Write everything once, then send. Okay. Let's keep track of I and j value. Initially, I value 0, j value 20. 0 less than 50, 20 greater than 15. Yes. Printing the same. I value got incremented to 1, j value got incremented to 90. 1 less than 15, 19 greater than 15. Yes. Printing the same. Then one is becoming 2, 19 is becoming 18. 2 less than 15, 18 greater than 15, yes. 2 is becoming 3. 3 less than 15, 17 greater than 15, yes. 3 becoming 4, 17 becoming 16. 4 less than 15, 16 greater than 15, printing the same. 4 colon 16. Now 4 is becoming 5, j will be decremented to 15. 5 less than 15, yes. 15 greater than 15, no. Here we are getting false. Both should be true, but second operand we are getting false. Comes out. At last we get 5 colon 15. This much output we get. Let's compile and run this one. We get this much of output. Write the output for this one. How many times initializer will be executing? How many times increment? How many times body? See here.
151, sir.
Yeah. In the initialization section, we can give system.out.println possible. In the increment or decrement section also, we can give SOP possible. We know that initializer will be executing only once, not multiple times. Only once. Initializer will be executing only once. Increment and body both will be printed 5 times. Carefully observe. Initializer will be executing only once. Then 0 less than 5, yes. Body will be printed, entering the body. Now, while incrementing, from 0 to 1, okay, then current eval is 1. 1 less than 5, yes, body will be printed. 1 is becoming 2, for that increment will be printed. 2 less than 5, yes, body will be printed. 2 is becoming 3. When it is becoming 3, increment will be printed. Whether 3 less than 5, yes, body will be printed. 3 is becoming 4. Increment will be printed. Whether 4 less than 5, body will be printed. 4 is becoming 5. Increment will be printed. Whether 5 less than 5, no, comes out. Body 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Increment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Initializer only once. Understood or not? Usage of continue. Continue is a keyword. Continue is a keyword in Java. What is the usage of continue? You know how this loop works. Whenever, observe this one. This is the if block. Completely, I'll go through iteration by iteration for this. Observe carefully. For the first iteration, I is 0, 0 less than 10, loop begin. Now it is going to check if condition, whether 0 greater than 5. No, false. It won't execute this if condition. Comes out printing loop end. Still we are in the for loop. I will be incremented to 1. Whether 1 less than 10, yes. Loop begin. Whether 1 greater than 5, no. It won't execute if condition. Printing loop end. 1 is becoming 2. 2 less than 10. Yes. Loop begin. Two greater than 5? No. Loop end. Two is becoming 3. Same story. Loop begin. 3 greater than 5? No. Loop end. Then it is becoming 4. 4 less than 10? Yes. Loop begin. Whether 4 greater than 5? No. Loop end. 4 is becoming 5. 5 less than 10? Yes. Loop begin. 5 greater than 5? No. Loop end. Now carefully observe. I became 6. Loop begin. Loop begin will be printed. Now whether 6 greater than 5? Yes. 6 is greater than 5. It is going to enter the if block. We have the continue statement. In case of continue, what happens? Instead of executing the remaining statement of the for loop, it is going to skip to the next iteration of the for loop. We don't get loop end because of continue. Because of continue, we don't get loop end. Control will be skipping to the next iteration of the for loop. We don't get loop end. Now, only loop begin has printed. 6 greater than 5, yes. Because of continue, we don't get loop end. It is going to skip to the next iteration of the for loop. Now, I is becoming 7. Loop begin. Loop begin. 7 greater than 5? Yes. Continue. Once again, we don't get loop end. Without executing the remaining statements of the for loop, it is going to skip to the next iteration of the for loop. 7 is becoming 8. 8 less than 10, yes. Loop begin. Eight greater than 5, yes. Continue. Without executing loop and skipping to the next iteration. 8 is becoming 9. 9 less than 10, yes. Loop begin. 9 greater than 5, yes. Continue. Without executing loop and skipping to the next iteration. I is becoming 10. Whether 10 less than 10? No, comes out. Then it is going to come out of for loop. Then it is going to print main end. Like this. This much of output will get. Compare the output. In case of continue, without executing the remaining statements, it is going to skip to the next iteration of the current for loop. Come to the r.java. Instead of continue, keep the break. What happens in case of break? Instead of continue, keep the break. In case of break, whenever this if condition executes, whenever I becomes a 6, whenever I becomes a 6, control will be entering the if block, then it is going to break the entire for loop. Same story here. This is for Observe carefully. This is for 0th iteration, 1th iteration, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Whenever I becomes 6, loop begin. Now 6 greater than 5. Yes, 6 is greater than 5. Executing if block, break. In case of break, it is going to terminate the entire for loop itself. It is not going to skip to the next iteration. Instead, it is going to break the entire for loop. Then we get main end. That is the use case of break. Compare the output. Observe this program. We get syntax error for this program. Syntax error. Why? Because break, if you are keeping the break statement, that must be end of the current block. If you are keeping the break statement, that must be end of the current block. You must keep a break statement end of the current block. Otherwise, you will get error, syntax error. Why? Because whatever the code you write after this break becomes useless, unreachable. This code becomes unreachable. If you are keeping break, that must be at the end of the current block. In this case, you will get syntax error. Unreachable statement at line number 11. The same thing applies to continue as well. If you are keeping continue, that must be end of the current block. Here also we get syntax error. Continue must be end of the current block. For loop inside another for loop. This is outer for loop completely. This is inner for loop. For loop inside another for loop. For the outer for loop, I is equal to 0. 0 less than 4, yes. Go inside. Another for loop, inner for loop. For j is equal to 0, j got initialized to 0. J less than 4, no. Current I value, current I value. Current I value 0, current j value 0. Carefully observe, still we are in the inner for loop. As long as inner for loop returns true, as long as this condition becomes true, keeps on iterating in the inner for loop. Now j from 0 to 1. Okay. J value incrementing from 0 to 1. J value incrementing from 0 to 1. 1 less than 4? Yes. Current I value remains 0 only. Observe carefully. Current I value remains 0 only. For 0th iteration of outer for loop, how many times inner for loop will be executing? I remains 0. Now j value 1. One is becoming 2. 2 less than 4. Yes. I value remains the same. 2 will be incremented to 3. 3 less than 4. Yes. I value remains same. Printing 3. 0 colon 3. 3 is becoming 4. Whether 4 less than 4? No. Now it is going to come out. Here, now I value will be incrementing to 1. Now I value will be incremented to 1. Carefully observe. Now I value incremented to 1 for the outer for loop. 1 less than 4? Yes. Then coming to the for loop, inner for loop, once again j will be initializing to 0. Once again j will be initializing to 0. 0 less than 4? Yes. I value remains what? 1. This is 1th iteration of outer for loop. Colon, current j value 0. Same story. 1 colon 1, 1 colon 2, 1 colon 3. 3 is becoming 4. 4 less than 4? No. Comes out. Now I is becoming 2. From 1 to 2. Outer for loop I is becoming 2. Inner for loop j will be initializing to 0. I value 2. J value 0 less than 4. Yes. Same story. 2 colon 1, 2 colon 2, 2 colon 3. 3 is becoming 4. 4 less than 4? No. Comes out. I is becoming 3. I is becoming 3. For the third iteration of outer for loop, inner for loop, how many times execute? 0 to 3 times. That is 4 times. 3 colon 0, 3 colon 1, 3 colon 2, 3 colon 3. 3 is becoming 4. 4 less than 4 comes out. Now, carefully observe. I is becoming 4 from 3 to 4. Whether 4 less than 4? No. 4 is not less than 4 comes out. This much of output you will get. Syntax error. We are missing concatenation operator plus. That is why syntax error. Now it is fine. Syntactically proper. We need to run. Compare the output. This much of output we get. This is how inner loops work. Loop inside another loop. Likewise, come to this program. We have loop inside another loop, then we have continue. What happens? You might get the confusion. We have continue. Which loop to be skipped? That means currently we are in the inner for loop. Whether inner for loop will be skipping to the next iteration or outer for loop. Here, since we have not specified which loop to be skipping to the next iteration, we are not specifying that which loop to be skipping to the next iteration. By default, inner for loop will be skipping to the next iteration, because in the inner for loop only we have specified if block, then we have continue. So this inner for loop iteration will be skipping to the next one. Write the output. Write the output for this, everybody. Everybody should try. I showed you how inner for loop works, and we have seen how continue works. Now which loop will be skipping to the next iteration, that is inner for loop. Initially, outer for loop, initializing to 0. I will be initializing to 0. Loop 1 begin. Loop 1 begin. Inner for loop, j will be initializing to 0. Loop 2 begin. Whether 0 greater than 2, yes, continue. Without executing loop 2 end, skipping to the next iteration. J is becoming 1. 1 less than 5, yes. Loop 2 begin. Still we are in the loop 2. Now, 1 greater than 2, j current j value 1. 1 greater than 2. Sorry. Here what happens? Observe. Outer for loop. I is initializing to 0. Loop 1 begin. Loop 1 begin. Inner for loop. J is initializing to 0. Loop to begin. Whether 0 greater than 2? No. So if block won't be executing, loop to end. Still we are in the inner for loop. 0 is becoming 1. 1 less than 5? Yes. Loop to begin. 1 greater than 2? No. Comes out. Loop to end. One is becoming 2. 2 less than 5? Yes. Loop to begin. 2 greater than 2? No. Comes out. Loop to end. 2 is becoming 3. 3 less than 5? Yes. Loop to begin. 3 greater than 2? Yes. 3 is greater than 2. Continue. We have the continue. Without executing loop end, skip into the next iteration of the inner for loop. 3 is becoming 4. 4 less than 5? Yes. Loop to begin. 4 greater than 2? Yes. Continues there. Without executing loop to end, skip into the next iteration. J is becoming 5. 5 less than 5? No. Comes out. Comes out. Printing loop 1 end. Then outer for loop I is becoming 1 from 0 to 1. Outer for loop I is becoming 1. See, whatever we got the output, it is for I0. Now for I1, same story. Same story. Then I is becoming 2. Then I is becoming 2. 2 less than 2? No. Comes out. Printing main end. Compare the output. Instead of continue, if I have the break, what is the output? Write the output. Instead of continue, if we had break, what is the output? See, same story. What happens now? Here, from 0 to 2. See, loop to begin, loop to end. This is for 0th iteration of the inner for loop. 1th iteration, 2nd iteration. For the 3rd iteration, what happens? Only loop to begin. Then we have the break. We have the break. For the 0th iteration of the outer for loop, loop 1 begin. Then this is the 0th iteration for inner for loop. 1 second. When j becomes 3. Okay. Loop 2 begin. Then 3 greater than 2. Yes. Break. Entirely inner for loop we are going to break. So what happens? It won't continue to the, it won't skip to the next iteration. So loop to begin we don't get. Straight away loop 1 end. Then I becomes, that means outer for loop, I becomes 1. So loop 1 begin for 0th iteration of inner for loop. 1th iteration, 2nd iteration. For the 3rd iteration, what happens? Loop 2 begin only. Then if block is there, 3 greater than 2. 3 greater than 2. Yes. Executing break. So we don't get loop 2 begin once again. It is not going to continue to the next iteration. It is going to break entire inner for loop. Comes out loop 1 end. Then what happens? 1 is becoming 2. 1 is becoming 2. 2 less than 2? No, comes out. Main end. This much of output you'll get. Labeling of loops. This program demonstrates labeling of loops. See, here we are specifying which loop to be continued. See, first on top of the loop, we can able to label them. Now for this loop, I'm labeling loop 1 colon. Now carefully observe, by default, if you have continue in the inner for loop, it is going to skip to the next iteration of the inner for loop only. But because of we are specifying that loop 1, labeling of loops. Because of we are specifying loop 1, it is going to skip to the next iteration of the outer for loop instead of inner for loop. So this is what we are calling labeled loops. Instead of continuing the inner for loop, it is going to continue the outer for loop. See, this name can be anything, not only loop 1. This is a valid identifier. Label should be a valid identifier name. Otherwise, you'll get error. Label name should be a valid identifier name. I'm labeling this outer for loop by using this identifier name. This colon should be mandatory, should be there. If I simply say continue without specifying loop 1, it is going to continue inner for loop. But here I'm specifying by using the label. Continue the loop 1, not inner for loop, not this one, instead outer for loop. Now this is the assignment for you, and the next program also we have break with the label. This is the assignment. If you have any doubts, please ask me.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
Sir, while in break, can we use that statement in that program only?
Come again.
Yeah, in this. Yeah, can we use this? Yes, sir.
Huh.
Okay.
Here, what?
Okay, I will practice in. Yeah, sir.
Break is there. Yeah. In case of break, what happens? It is going to terminate what? Outer loop itself, not the
Okay,
inner
okay,
loop.
sir.
Outer loop itself, it is going to terminate. Only you will get 0th iteration. It won't skip to the next iteration. Why? Because we are ending loop 1 itself.
Ending.
Okay.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay, guys, I'm going to update the repository. Please check the repository for updated programs.
Sir, which is the next topic, sir?
Next topic, still we are in the loops only. While loop we have, do while loop we have, then we are going to move to another concept. Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Practice all these things. Okay, you should practice like, you know, you should not forget in your lifetime. Like
Okay,
that
sir.
you should practice.
Okay, sir.
Okay, guys, we'll continue in the next class. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.